Hello, my name is Eduardo, and today I will introduce the cybersecurity project and detail the first incident involving the STRR-AT malware infection. Firstly, though, welcome to the final presentation for Group 33. This briefing is for our Foundations of Cybersecurity course. Our group members are Eduardo Gonzalez, Protoy Sarker, Tyler Garrett, and Eddie Pinedo. We titled this first analytical section U, Dirty Rat. Our executive summary details a severe attack on Tuesday, July 30th, 2024, at roughly 2:40 UTC. The victim was Clark Collier using a Windows hostname desktop SKBR25F. The specific machine located at IP address 172.16.1.66 was infected with STRR-AT malware. Looking directly at our Splunk analysis, we see heavy communication back and forth. The internal IP 172.16.1.66 and another IP 172.16.1.4 were communicating heavily with an external address 199.232.196.209. Our analytical time chart shows exactly when the attack started. We notice a high traffic spike at once that smooths out afterward. We captured several critical indicators of compromise. This included suspicious HTTPS traffic over port 443 to file sharing domains like github.com or repo.maven.org. Wireshark also caught an IP address checked by the infected Windows host. The user was reaching out to ip.ip.com. Together, these independent actions show the host actively scanning for the network. Post-infection traffic for STRRAT showed up on port 1213.2. The TCP string contains repeated beaconing with the exact string ping STRRAT visible in the logs. What we found out is the host definitely infected with the STRRAT malware. We saw direct identification of strings and persistent beaconing to a command and control server. This confirms a compromised system on the remote attacker control. Our response to this is to isolate host 172.16.1.66 to minimize damage. We also need to change credentials immediately and block malicious IPs on a firewall and DNS level.
Thanks for that, Eduardo. I'm Protoy, and I will cover the second incident involving an initial ID infection escalating into Cobalt Strike. We now move on into our second incident titled Burning Candle. On March 21st, 2022, a Windows workstation generated suspicious network traffic. This system belonged to the user Patrick.Zimmerman on the burningcandle.com domain. The traffic behavior was consistent with iced ID malware followed by Cobalt Strike beaconing. Splunk analysis revealed a massive difference in total bytes for flow to the IP 10.0.19.14. This machine had an immense amount of network traffic coming from and to the IP address. Our first observation confirms that 10.0.19.14 generated the highest volume of internal and external traffic. We saw internal communications with the domain controller, including SMB and Kerberos authentication. Our second round of observations focused heavily on external communication. We noticed multiple HTTP and TLS sessions to suspicious IP addresses. These repeated encrypted sessions and abnormal TCP behavior are commonly associated with unstable command and control communications. Looking at the traffic exercise, we see a screenshot of these exact TLS sessions. The logs highlight the specific encrypted handshakes occurring between the endpoints. Key indicators of compromise include malicious traffic to 23.227.198.203 over port 757. We also identified the suspicious domain bubdata.com alongside frequent TCP resets. What we found is that desktop 5Q S3D5D was severely compromised. The initial ICE ID infection was subsequently led by Cobalt Strike communication. Immediate remediation actions such as forensic imaging are recommended. Our response to this mirrors the previous incident. We must isolate host 10.0.19.14 and block malicious domains. The domains bubdata.com and andnoscience.com need blocking at the DNS level.
Thank you, Protoy. I'm Tyler, and for this next section, I will break down the final incident where A micro-enabled document delivered a dangerous Drydex payload. Now we will review our third and final network analysis. This February 2020 traffic analysis exercise investigates a malware infection originating from a malicious Microsoft Word document. It leads to a payload download consistent with Drydex malware. The Splunk analysis shows 172.17.8.174 is a common destination for multiple different IP addresses. This is highly unusual for a standard user to receive data from so many external sources. Furthermore, this IP is talking to multiple different hosts at once. Our Splunk stats command proved this is not common in ordinary interactions for an employee. The network environment for this LAN segment is within the range 172.17.8.0. The domain controller is one hot mess DC at 172.17.8.8. The initial infection vector was a document named INV 261804.doc, which opened the document displays a message prompting the user to enable editing. This behavior is a characteristic of micro-enabled malware. Here we have a visual representation of the dangerous Word document. The graphic illustrates the hidden threat lurking inside the file format. Prior to the malicious download, the affected host engaged in normal internal network activity. We observed Kerberos authentication traffic with the domain controller. This indicates the system was functioning normally before the infection occurred. The infection chain begins when the user opens the document and enables micros. The micro uses win HTTP request to download the payload yrkbdmt.bin from blueflag.xyz. Following micro execution, the host generated an HTTP request. The use of the win HTTP request user agent indicates the request was generated programmatically. Analysis of IDS alerts reveals multiple detections. This includes an ET policy PEXE download and a SSL file blacklist malicious SSL certificate detected for Drydex. Ultimately, we found out that the system was infected with Drydex malware. Network traffic evidence combined with IDS alerts forms a reliable reconstruction of the incident.
Great work, guys. I'm Eric, and in conclusion to our presentation, I will be summarizing the overarching remediation strategies for the final event and conclude the entire assignment. Our response to this situation requires decisive and immediate action to contain the threat. It is absolutely imperative that we isolate host IP of 172.17.8.174 to stop or minimize the further damage to our local network. Furthermore, we must block malicious domains. We must block the malicious domains and infrastructure linked to the IP. We will apply these strict restrictions both on a firewall and DNS level to prevent any persistent loopholes in our security. To guarantee the complete eradication of the threat, we will completely wipe the affected machine and monitor others closely. Rebuilding the host from a clean baseline ensures no lingering remnants of the Drydex payload survive. We also need to scrutinize adjacent workstations on the same subnet just in case the infection attempted lateral movement. It is also incredibly important to record copies of the packet captured alongside the system logs. Preserving the vital data will deeply assist us in creating a stronger defense against similar attacks going forward. Taking the time to archive these artifacts allow our team to study and specific tactics and the adversary utilize. Finally, we must disable Office macros by default across the entire organization to neutralize this attack vector entirely. We want to extend a big thank you for your time and attention.